little bit about your role in Occupy SF Housing.
So the Housing Working Group started out as branching out of the Action Council, and it originally was people who were from a bunch of different organizations that already exist in San Francisco who work on housing issues. And I work for the Eviction Defense Collaborative, but there was also people from the Tenants Union, the Housing Rights Committee, and some other groups like Causa Justa, which is mainly organizes Latino tenants, and a number of other folks like that. But what we quickly found is people came from, just because they were interested in housing issues, they sort of saw how fundamental housing is, and they came as well to this group we began. What we've done so far has been teach-ins. We have done a lot of work to help educate occupiers, as well as ourselves and the general community, about housing issues and the history of housing issues in San Francisco.
So what are some of the housing issues you're facing here in San Francisco?
Well, San Francisco is a world-famous, horrible market for renters. It is one of the toughest places to find housing, affordable housing. It's also a place that has a history of very progressive people and a lot of organizing to protect people from being pushed out just because of economics. And so one thing that's happened has been that although it's a tough market, there's also stronger protections than almost anywhere as well.
And there's a strong community here, right?
Absolutely. And so we started by doing some education, but then we sort of moved quickly into organizing actions. We started with a December 3rd march for housing justice, and then went from there into working on foreclosure issues as well. It's been really interesting to tie in tenant issues with homeowner issues, because that's always been a bit of a divide within the traditional framework of working around housing issues, and instead we're working together to keep our city from the banks. The next step is two things. We've been working to simply shut down auctions, and we're strategizing how to add block evictions as well, and so like going beyond public education and awareness into direct action, stopping the things we're trying to avoid.
I've actually seen some videos of the Occupy Foreclosures will go and occupy people's homes that are being foreclosed and actually saving some people's homes.
Absolutely. We're working on a bunch of different strategies now in terms of how to make that most effective. There's going to be a home takeover on Friday of someone who's already been foreclosed on and already been evicted, and he's going to, with the help of a bunch of folks, try to take his home back. At the same time, we're doing we're postponing auctions. All in foreclosures have to take place in a public way, in public space, through a public process. That's a legal requirement of it, which means we can show up and disrupt until it doesn't happen. So far, we haven't gotten foreclosures canceled by disrupting auctions, but we have postponed them long enough to try to negotiate with banks and try to save people's homes that way. And that happened just last Thursday. We were able to postpone an auction by a month, so hopefully we're going to get somewhere with a bank.
What made you decide to occupy?
It was a no-brainer. I've been working on progressive issues my whole life, and fighting what felt like an uphill battle where in different silos where people weren't talking together about a systemic problem, and instead were talking about their own issue, and feeling like I was getting nowhere. And then suddenly this thing happened which was wide open in terms of what it could mean and what's possible. And talking about all the issues that we've talked about, that we've always thought in America were impossible political arguments about economic justice, about the gap between the rich and the poor, about increasing taxes, about increasing services, about what it means to live in a fair society. These are questions that haven't been realistic questions to the majority of Americans, and suddenly things have gotten bad enough that they are, and this is the space where we start believing that that's possible and work towards it. I think that it's an open community. It's what you want it to be, and it's about working together in a leaderless, horizontal way towards a better world.
Definitely. I think that's all I got.
Thanks.